Matt, thanks for joining us to talk about the players' off-season programs. The season's over now, obviously. Good time for some of the players to get some surgery done.
Yeah, our doctor has a busy time at this time of the year, organising all the surgeries and making sure that we get them done as soon as possible to maximise players' off-season programs.
Are most of them relatively minor in terms of the surgery they're having?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a mix, but the majority are fairly minor. A lot of the issues are guys that have had minor problems through the season, that are more chronic issues that get operated on once the season's finished. Quite a few hip scopes that need fixing up, which don't stop the players from playing, just probably restricts their range of movement, so it creates a little bit of soreness. But the guys deal with that, and then obviously as soon as the season finishes, it's a perfect time to get those done. We try and maximise their pre-season by getting it done early, giving them a 6-week rehab period, 6 to 8 weeks, so that when they come back after their 8-week break, they're pretty much ready to go.
So, for example, Trent Cotchin had the hip done, was relatively minor. Jack's had 4 surgeries, that sort of thing. Most of them pretty minor and get back on their feet pretty soon.
Yeah, that's right. Jack will probably be the slowest in terms of his return to training once we start pre-season, just because of the number of surgeries he's had. But none of them are issues that will concern us or him long term. And Koch has had a hip scope done, which he had done previously on the other side a couple of years ago. So we always knew that there was a chance he'd need the second one done. He managed it really well through the second half of the season. Didn't give him too many problems, and then got it sorted straight away as soon as the season finished. And yeah, he'll be in his running progressions once we start pre-season, first week in November.
And most of the boys come back sort of 6 weeks from now. That gives them plenty of time off. Will the majority of them be okay, ready to go for the start of the pre-season?
Yeah, they will. There'll be various stages of return to training at the start of pre-season. So normally what we find is that once we get through first phase of pre-season, which is a November phase, by the time we get to December, the majority of guys are within training or very close to it. But the main thing from my point of view is that we have as many players running and working through running progressions and getting that specific running conditioning into their legs prior to Christmas. And then we can really ramp up their footy loads post-Christmas.
And the players do get some time off, but it's fully professional sport these days. There's not much time to rest up and put the feet up.
No, we educate the players pretty significantly about that and the effects of detraining and not spending too long off their legs. At the same time, it's really important to have a bit of a break as well. It's a long period of time to be up both physically and mentally, and so we have a 2-week period at the end of the season where we expect that they recover and rest, and recreational activity's fine, but there's no specific program through that first 2 weeks. And then they have a 6-week progressive program that they work through leading into the start of pre-season.
And how do you actually control what they're doing when they're not at the club?
Yeah, technology's played a big part of that, particularly over the last few years. We've really ramped up the use of technology. So the guys, wherever they are in the world, have access to their programs through the use of visual coaching software. So they access it on their iPhones or on their computer via the internet, and that has all of their strength training programs and injury prevention programs. And then we use GPS watches where the players will have all their running sessions programmed into the watch, and they access their programs on the specific day. It tells them what speed they need to run at, the distances they need to run at, the recovery periods, and we can actually download those watches when they return to make sure that guys have done the sessions that they've been asked to do.
And the programs that you create for them in the off-season, are they tailored individual to each player or to groups of players?
Yeah, they're tailored. So the guys that work with me in the conditioning department spend an enormous amount of time setting up each individual program. Obviously, the rehabilitation programs are done by Terry Condon and our physios, and so they're all very specific to the needs of the specific surgery. And then there's guys that have a greater focus on trying to increase their strength and size through this time of the year that will do more weight training. Other guys are trying to step up their endurance, use this time of the year to make gains in that area.
And just finally, how important is it for the players to come back, start of the pre-season, ready to go in terms of their programs and hitting the pre-season hard?
Yeah, it's a big part of it, particularly as a young side where we're trying to increase the physical capacities of our playing group. So one of the keys with it is that if you leave your run too late and you're playing catch-up, the gradient becomes quite steep from the conditioning that you need to play games. So the shorter that period of time is leading into games, the steeper the gradient, the higher the risk of actually breaking down. So we expect guys to be in really good shape come start of pre-season so that we can build their loads up across pre-season, factor in recovery periods, really boost their conditioning so that we can go into 2012 season in hopefully better shape than what we did last year.
Thanks for your time.
No worries. Thanks, mate.